The air was thick with the scent of dry hay and something vaguely floral, maybe expensive suburban rose bushes, and it was already grating on my nerves. I rounded the final bend onto the stretch of Oak County Road that had belonged to my family for 3 generations, only to find a cheaply constructed, faux stone guardhouse and a security guard looking entirely too important for the job. "What is this, a velvet rope at a nightclub?" "Good afternoon," I called out, rolling down my window, the humid July heat immediately assaulting my face. "I'm here to see my father, John Maxwell, at the old farm." The guard, a young kid with a name tag that read Kyle, didn't even crack a smile. He consulted a clipboard with an absurd level of gravity. "Ma'am, I need to see some identification. The Maxwell property is currently under a restricted access order." I pulled my ID out, feeling the familiar, metallic taste of rising frustration. Restricted access? Since when? He owns that land outright, and this is a county road, or at least it used to be. I sighed, a long, dramatic exhale that felt like it carried all the weight of the endless, petty skirmishes between the New Oak County Estates Homeowners Association and my dad's ancient, stubborn farm. Kyle scanned my license, his brow furrowed in concentration. He didn't look up as he delivered the line that instantly chilled my blood. "I'm sorry, Ms. Maxwell, but you are explicitly listed on our banned individuals roster. Access denied." "Banned? Seriously?" My voice rose, cutting through the droning chorus of cicadas. "You cannot be serious. Banned from visiting my own father's house? What authority do you possibly have to ban me?" Kyle looked genuinely apologetic but immovable. "I have to call the board president, Brenda Jennings. She made the addition." He picked up a walkie-talkie, his hand shaking slightly. I knew I wasn't the first person Brenda had tried to steamroll. A beat later, a black SUV screech halted next to the guardhouse, kicking up a plume of dust that perfectly matched the entitled sneer of the woman emerging from it. Brenda, the Karen of all Karens. She was wearing perfectly tailored linen pants and a face that suggested she hadn't smiled sincerely since the 1990s. The smell of her overly sweet, cloying perfume hit me seconds before she did. "What is the issue here, Kyle?" "I heard unauthorized noise," Brenda snapped, her voice like a high-pitched, rusty saw blade. She spotted me, and her eyes narrowed into twin slits of pure suburban rage. "Ms. Jennings, I'm Amelia Maxwell, Mr. Maxwell's daughter. You've banned me from seeing my father." "Why?" I kept my tone low, aiming for professional annoyance rather than screaming chaos, but my hands were gripping the steering wheel so tight my knuckles were white. Brenda laughed, a dry, brittle sound. "Ah, the apple doesn't fall far from the non-conforming, structurally unsafe tree, does it? You are banned, dear, because your presence constitutes aiding and abetting an ongoing violation of homeowners association covenants. Your father insists on running a commercial, odor-producing agricultural enterprise which is lowering property values. You're an accomplice." "An accomplice? For smelling hay?" The absurdity of it made my head swim. "My father's farm predates your entire homeowners association by 60 years. He was here before your stucco box estates were even blueprints." I shot back, the heat in the car suddenly oppressive. I needed to breathe. I took a deep, shaky breath, fighting the urge to floor the gas pedal and smash through their pathetic excuse for a gate. "Irrelevant," Brenda declared, waving a dismissive hand. "We own the land surrounding his parcel. The new access road and the gate are our property. My decision is final. Turn around, or I will have this vehicle towed for trespassing on private community land." She tapped the glass of the guardhouse with a perfectly manicured nail. "Do you understand, Miss Maxwell? You are banned." That was the crucial cinematic moment, the beat where the music changes from tense thriller to triumphant score. I looked at her, and the anger didn't just drain away. It crystallized into something cold and razor-sharp. "That's fascinating, Brenda," I said, pulling an impeccably organized manila envelope from the passenger seat. "Because I didn't come here just to visit. I came here to deliver this. I calmly stepped out of the car, adjusting my sunglasses. The sun beat down, but I felt a sudden, exhilarating surge of coolness. I walked right up to the gate, past the now frozen Kyle and the confused Brenda. "You see, Brenda," I continued, my voice smooth and utterly devoid of emotion. "When the Oak County Estates development acquired the surrounding parcels, there was one critical, tiny little omission in the survey. The original 1958 deed for my father's farm included a 20-foot easement running directly along the southern boundary line, an easement that extends exactly where this pathetic little gate of yours is currently standing." Brenda's confident smirk flickered. "Lies. We built that road. It's private property." "It was always my father's property, deeded as access to the original county path which you subsequently demolished to build your McMansions," I corrected, pulling out the centerpiece of my mission, a court-stamped official document. "Your homeowners association built your ridiculous checkpoint directly on land that the Maxwell family has never ceded, leased, or sold." I looked directly into her shocked, widening eyes. "This is a temporary restraining order, filed yesterday morning. It names the Oak County Estates Homeowners Association as defendants and lists this exact stretch of road as disputed property. And since this gate constitutes an illegal structure and unauthorized obstruction on private property, which my father owns, the court has granted immediate relief." Did she really think this was just a simple neighbor dispute? Oh, darling, bless your entitled heart. I didn't wait for her to formulate a sputtering defense. I leaned in, lowering my voice so only she could hear the steel in it. "You threatened to tow my car for trespassing on your land. Now, I am officially informing you, as the temporary legally designated executor of the Maxwell estate, and I have a power of attorney right here, that your gate, your guardhouse, and your little security drone, Kyle, are currently trespassing on my land." I handed the TRO to Kyle, who looked like he wanted to vanish into thin air, and then pointed directly at the faux stone barrier. "You have 30 minutes to remove that gate, or I will be back with the county sheriff to file a criminal complaint for obstruction, property damage, and contempt of court. And you, Brenda, will be the one facing the music." The color drained completely from Brenda's face, leaving her expensive makeup looking suddenly garish. She tried to stammer out a threat, but the words caught in her throat. She looked from the court seal on the document, to the gate, to the furious, cold look in my eyes. Her little empire of petty rules was crumbling around her. I didn't need to say another word. I gave Kyle a sympathetic nod and slid back into my old pickup truck, letting the engine hum. I watched, with a deep, cleansing satisfaction that tasted sweeter than any rosebush perfume, as Brenda snatched the document from Kyle and began frantically shouting into her phone, her voice shaking with panic instead of arrogance. 20 minutes later, a professional towing company, not the HOA's contractor, arrived, ordered by Brenda herself. They dismantled the guardhouse in humiliatingly quick fashion. I finally drove the last 100 yards home. As I pulled past the scattered wreckage of the gate and onto the soft, gravel driveway, the smell of hay and fresh-turned soil filled the air. It was the scent of hard work, not petulance. I parked, stepped out, and took a deep, clean breath. Sometimes, justice isn't a grand speech. It's simply the sound of a petty tyrant choking on her own ill-conceived rules. Never underestimate the quiet power of the old guard when they finally decide to fight back with the right paperwork.